Would you like to be my friend? We can have beers together.
Oh my God, look who's here.
Well,
Hey, what's up, guys?
For the first time on this show. How you doing, Nick?
I'm good, man. I up late and saw you guys were on. Said, hey, maybe they'd like a homosexual on the panel for June.
Another one? It's getting super gay up in here.
I like this. I'm taking over the whole. Oh, there we go.
That's what we do, yeah, just when you first come on, you know.
I like it.
Putting
I
Doug
like
down there. Are you okay down there?
yeah, I've been here before.
I hope everybody's all right with it. I don't know what to do. I
It's
just set
okay.
it
I'm
down.
used to other guys being on the bottom.
Hey, look. That's not what I heard. 4 to a bed. Come on. How did you do that and keep a straight face? Everybody
I
laying
kept a
there with the
straight
covers
face?
up to your necks and shit, you know, like.
No, it's I won't get too much into that. There's a time in my life with weird choices. He really oversells some things. We'll say that. Like when you hear him talking, he's like, I was down there every day. I like basically lived. No, you weren't. What are you talking about? He was up doing a show all the time. And I think it's one of those things where when you look back on something, you kind of you look at a feature and you go, oh, that must have been happening the whole time. It's like, no, not really. I mean, for one person it was, just it wasn't him.
Oh, God. You was getting all the pussy in the house.
I mean,
We already
We're
know,
not-
so yes.
we're not going to discuss that too much.
Right.
Other people are, if it was just me masturbating, I would tell you all about it. But
Oh,
My
The-
God.
I'm joking.
We don't have to go that far. But
No, it's just like he would come hang out sometimes, and then most of the time he was at home, and
asking for money, gas money and shit.
that was the funniest shit ever. Because I had no problem, by the way, paying for like gas for April to drive my kids around. Like that wasn't a problem. We just didn't have time to set it up yet. It had only been like 5 days total. And he's like, well, if she's going to be working down there, I'm like, what job pays you within the first week and gives you expenses? Like, calm down.
Yeah. Just,
But then I just gave her my debit card. And I'm like, if you're driving my kids around, you need to buy groceries or food or whatever. And then, you know, like she kept the debit card for as long as she needed it. That was,
man, you trusted that woman, huh?
she was very trustworthy. And, you know, like she was careful with spending. She was way better with my money than I was.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I think that's the problem. You didn't give him the debit card.
Well, yeah.
That's the funny thing when he's like, I told him you needed to compensate that woman. I'm like, no, you didn't. You asked me to pay you. You asked me to pay you, you bitch. Oh, this is hurting my show's bank account. Fuck off.
And wait,
Loser.
didn't he ask that after sending you the picture where she had packed all her shit and left?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Now, to be fair, one of the things he kind of leaves out of that story is she did pack up all her shit. She didn't tell him. I was kind of pissed off at her for that because I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you can't just blindside him like that.
Because
She
now
left.
there's a chance you might have to deal with this asshole.
When she left her ring in the closet, like right on the shelf. You could see it when you walk in the door. This is clear message, but she did.
You know that he's going to go all country song about shit like that, yeah.
She sent him a message, and she's like, "Look, this is like a reset. Maybe in a couple days, you start because they were gonna buy my other house, which is next door." And she's like, "Maybe you start moving your stuff down and start setting up your studio here, and then." You know, we can get this house and it'll give us a chance to kind of reboot some things.
Yeah.
But I need a couple days of a break. And he, so when he sent that message, it was with the understanding that they were going to be trying to patch things up. But then he wrote her that cringe letter. I don't know if you know about the letter, but he hand wrote this letter about all the shit that he did wrong.
Oh boy.
Oh, that was the that
wild.
was the one read at Hackamania too.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
familiar with
Oh, I boycotted that.
that. Well, I didn't.
He hand wrote this letter, which is like all self-criticisms. It was all stuff April had told him a couple months prior, and he like laughed at her and berated her for it. But now he was trying to use the exact same assessment she gave of him, like, you lie to me all the time. You backseat any decisions that are important to me, all this stuff. And so he like wrote the letter, I do this, I do that, I do this. Texts me, he's like, look at this letter. I'm so proud of it. I even used I statements to talk about my own culpability. I was like, you are such a fag.
What?
But let's see how this works for you. And of course, it just broke her heart entirely because all of the stuff she'd been saying to him that he had been denying to her face and mocking her for, and, and other things, he's now just saying it in this scrawled letter to try and get her back when she finally moves out. And
Too little, too late. Yeah.
Well, it
would
was the
assume.
wrong approach. The right approach is, hey, I fucked up a lot. Like, you tried to tell me about it. I didn't realize what was going on. But let's do this reset. Like, let's go with this idea that you have. Let's try this out. They didn't have to buy the house. Like, they could have lived in that house for months. I would have just let them. I didn't care about it. But like, they could have tried, and he just didn't. He actually started talking to his fallback girl, slam piece or whatever. Yeah, he started talking to her like before he sent that letter. So he was like, cheat. I know this is like a weird way to say this given the circumstances, but he was like cheating on his wife with this woman, but then trying to get his wife back and stuff.
Yeah.
And you may be in an alternate relationship, but those rely on trust, communication, and openness. You can't like have another person out there. So it was wild. It was super fucking weird. And he's super fucking weird. And he became completely insufferable. For a couple months, you can kind of deal with him because he puts the mask on. And it's like, well, he's just kind of a dorky asshole. But like, I've hung out with dorky assholes my whole life.
And his
And
wife's
this-
hot, so yeah.
She's very, very pretty, yes. And so then like it's like, okay, well, he was tolerable. Like he wasn't like this at all.
Yeah.
He was just mildly annoying out in public, but that who cares?
Well, just add Catholicism and you get this kind of guy, I guess, right?
Oh
And-
my God. I have never wanted to be crucified more than when he talks religion.
He was demon possessed when he was doing all this stuff with you guys.
Oh, that's
so-
right. Yes.
He picked, okay, so I don't know how Demonology updated you guys on, but he explains the two sex demons. And the sex demons
Oh,
are the
yeah.
funniest things ever because you have an incubus and a succubus. Now, a succubus comes and steals a man's cummies at night and puts them in an underage village girl who gets pregnant by the demon, and definitely not the bishop that they stole the cummies from, right? Like, that's how succubi work. They come and they take semen from a man, and then the semen ends up in a underage village girl that the man's not married to.
Man, those
Now-
guys were pretty smart.
An incubus is the one that will he will bring his seed to like a woman, and he will impregnate the woman and bring her like forbidden pleasure, because women back then not really allowed to enjoy sex and stuff. So the incubus would do that.
So
the-
that would be the one that the woman would use to lie with.
Right.
Right.
So if you're a man being possessed by a demon and forced to do actions, Aaron's picks the succubus. So he's like, I was possessed by the one that eats cum. That's the one I was possessed by. It's like,
Yeah, the
no.
incubus wouldn't do that.
Right. You got that one wrong, dummy. You should have picked the male demon, I think.
God. At least go with the guy, yeah. I mean,
But
you have to be demon. Oops, sorry about that. That was too
He
loud.
is he's such a non-expert and so uneducated on everything that even his like fake demon possession story, he gets the opposite. Like, how do you get everything wrong, every subject? Every time I watch a clip, I'm just like, dude, if you were trying to hang yourself, you would give birth. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
That's always been the fascinating thing about Stilt, though, is how incredibly stupid it is. But also, it was like, from my standpoint, from the first introduction to this guy, it's like all the rumors about him, and I was all that. I don't believe a word of that. And then every last one of them was true.
Yeah,
one after another. And I was like,
April's
oh my
not
God.
doing drugs. April's not,
Yeah.
There's no swinging or
Yeah,
whatever.
all of
and
it. Yeah.
she would come in to do the show and be like all dressed up still from being elsewhere.
So one of the things that he did was really terrible to me, which is the most important, but also to the other people involved. Like he has the ability to take this nugget. You mentioned it just before I came on. Like he'll take a nugget of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just blow it into something completely different. The way he talks about like April being a cocaine addict and all of this stuff. The three of us, I'm in bad timing, but the three of us were talking like that last drug run that I did, the last resupply, we all three like fought over it because we were all talking about quitting and the best way to quit because we all had determined that maybe we're doing too much cocaine, right? And so it was like, we need to slow down. My theory is different. I'm like, we don't need to slow down. If we're going to quit, gone from the house. There is no slowing down on cocaine.
No.
So I'm like, we were all talking about quitting because we had all kind of determined maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe you save it for a weekend or a holiday or like a trip or something, but you don't have it. We had cocaine every day. Like we never ran out. It was beautiful. But so he knew this. He knows this because he was in communication with two of the people, not me, obviously, because I had told him to kill himself. But he was in communication with them, talking to them, and they're like, we're quitting, like we're getting out of this stuff or whatever. So when he sits there and says, oh, they're all like strung out cocaine addicts and stuff, it's like, okay, first of all, April did cocaine for maybe 4 months of her entire life. I did it for about a year and a half. Like you're gonna say that that we're in the deepest throes of addiction. Like you're not even scratching the surface of like what addicts actually end up going through. Like a decade of excessive, constant, life-ruining use.
Yeah, my drug use has been exaggerated as well, so I know the feeling. By Gino.
Well,
he's rounded up to meth now from the Adderall that I'm prescribed. I'm on meth.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because he can't think. I didn't know. I don't even know how to insult him. He's so retarded.
He's a big, stupid, hairy Italian fucking. He's a comedian, but anyway, whatever. I have a feeling that I could go on and on, but
it's like, when you meet addicts, the addiction destroys everything that they do. Now, people look at my life and they go, oh, well, look at all the damage it did. Outside of this one catastrophic incident, no one knew. No one in our community, no one in our families. Nobody had any idea because we weren't overdosing. We weren't stealing shit. We just bought drugs and used them in the privacy, mostly in the privacy of our home. Right. And it's like, he's out here and he's like, they were always just completely wasted on cocaine. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's not how coke works. You're up. You're gonna do something. You're gonna vacuum the ceiling.
So this is like requiem for a dream type shit, right? Like you're just like shaking in a corner, and
so like there's a famous story where he helped my daughter make SpaghettiOs, for example, and he acts like he had to be. He said I had to be the only grown up in the room, and because they were all strung out on cocaine. I'm like, the four of us are just sitting there watching Game of Thrones. And my daughter's like, hey, can someone help me open this can? Because she can make her own SpaghettiOs. She just couldn't open the can by herself. And so all he had to do, which he volunteered, was get up and go open the can. But the only reason no one else went was because he had volunteered. And it's like, all right, see you in a minute. Like,
Yeah, I'm not dying to open a can of SpaghettiOs. Go ahead.
yeah, we're just sitting around watching TV.
So
And,
that's an example of him using a kernel of truth in that he did indeed help the girl get the can open, but the rest of it,
Well,
And I
I mean,
think-
like, and
I
it
think
ends
he
up
helped her-
sounding what it ends up sounding like is you're in there fucking both your wives, his and yours, while he's in there like stirring SpaghettiOs with a kid.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I know, and then he's like, and then I was sweeping the floor in the kitchen. I'm like, you stupid bitch. What were you doing? Why would you do that at all, ever? Sweep another man's floor? That's almost gayer than eating cum. God.
Yeah, it's not like mowing another man's lawn, which is a cucking move.
It was when I was hearing this story, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is how he's telling the story? One, gay. Two, what are you making this out to be? You literally just got up, you helped a little girl open a can of SpaghettiOs and poured it in a bowl, and he probably put it in the microwave for a minute and a half and hit start. And it's like,
Yeah, we're familiar with the process.
well, I don't know if he did that or not, because she could do, like, she knows how to make the SpaghettiOs. I hired a Chinese person to come train her on it. But it's like, he acts like he's the savior of this child.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
always the savior. I mean, like
Yeah.
in every situation, he's correct. And isn't it also correct that like nobody would have, you said outside of this one catastrophic incident, but it's only catastrophic because people know, and people only know because he called the cops. I guess that's the bigger part of it is having to deal with the law enforcement stuff.
The government did more damage to my life than like using cocaine or whatever. Now, had I continued using cocaine at the same level for a long time, I'm sure it would have destroyed a lot, right? Like, I'm sure even if I had never been arrested or whatever. But when the government came in and like starts telling the world all this stuff and telling my kids, like, your parents are on drugs. Like, they didn't know. Thanks, you fuckers. I taught them not to engage in any of this stuff. You know, all the normal things you teach a kid about substances, like, hey, like, your friends might ask you to do these things, don't do them, etc.
Except for that one that you did a lot of coke with, right?
Well, it's
Allegedly.
not my fault. She found her own dealer and she was holding the bag half the time. But it's like, they did all this damage. Now, I'm not trying to pass the blame. It's my fault.
Well,
right?
that
Like,
is a point to be made. I mean, as hard as this was for you and your wife and everything to go through, there is a bright spot in it. You know, that you dealt with this. This is something you need to stop doing.
the other part that was bright about it that I didn't know at the time was after the government comes in and takes your kids away,
Yeah.
you don't give a fuck what anybody else can say to you on the planet. I was like, can you take my kids away? I don't give a shit what your opinion is. Like, if you can't take them, I don't care. So I got to change a little bit about myself and how I conduct things. And I stopped pandering to people out in public or in the community. I stopped doing things that I didn't want to do. Like, it was like, if my wife asked me now, like, do you want to go to this church function? I like our new church, but the last church and stuff, I'll just be like, nope, I don't want to go there ever. Like, I don't want to go there. So no, I'm not going to. And in the past, I would have gone like, I mean, I guess, and then go on and suffered through it. Now I just stay home if I want to. And like learning that you can make those choices usually comes from realizing that the choices you thought were important weren't. And I did learn that really quickly. And that's been great. That's been the most fun thing, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the perspective change. Your house that you had her living in, I've heard, is just like basically not even finished. There's a lot of open beams. It's like a tarp. There's no Wi-Fi. Holy shit. I mean, like, to complain, like, oh, I have a free place to live, a house, great. What? No Wi-Fi? This is cruelty beyond imagination.
The reason that there was no Wi-Fi was because her stuff lived at that house. She didn't. She lived in my house, like, effectively. she could go, she might go back to that house, but she didn't go over there very often unless she really needed some time alone or whatever. So she didn't need internet until we started to kind of separate, and then all she had to do to get internet was call the internet company, and she did, and she got internet. She had it within a day because they already had installed everything to the house, so all they had to do was flip a switch. And
it's not like a phone doesn't work anyway. I mean, you still get information and stuff. You just have to not be on the Wi-Fi or whatever. I mean, it's no big deal. It's like,
and
so
I
what?
paid it was my credit card that paid for the internet too. It's like literally all she just didn't need it.
Well, I mean, it is your house and your mistress. So. It seems only right.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like I was like, no, I'm not going to pay for that, and that's why she didn't have internet or anything. It was she just literally didn't need it until she did, and then she got it.
Well, the inference we're supposed to take is that you kept her out there like uninformed and like just
it is controlled.
Yeah.
I had to read old magazines or some shit.
It's so weird. It's like how could she ever figure out how to do anything? I mean, she had her own truck, but she didn't know how to drive, I guess. And it's like she kept her there. No, I kept her right next to me most of the time. But like she could go anywhere. In fact, when she felt unsafe in that house, I let her live at another house that was available because she had a stalker. We won't get too much into it.
No, I guess not.
But
was it Gino?
No.
Oh God,
man, Gino is like maybe you can explain. He came out. He used a certain combination of words to describe your wife over and over and over again, and it was really just ugly and embarrassing, and everybody was scratching their heads. What is getting him so riled up about this? Do you have any idea? I mean,
I have some theories. I have some theories that involve maybe some feelings he has about his own wife. Because a lot of the things that he says about mine are things that are true about his. And like he needs to process. You got to process that, brother. You can't carry that anger through a marriage. You can't. It's not gonna go on. But the way he treats her is atrocious, and I hate her. So like I don't care if he treats her poorly in general, but I don't want anybody abused, and the way he treats her is obviously abusive.
Well, I mean, he's he fired her from the show just because he was trying to call the Minnesota police for some reason. It's
that's right. Yeah. He was...
Wait, when did this happen?
Oh, this was like a year ago, maybe or less. I don't know, but he was. Yeah, well, it's not recent. He was trying to find out. I think he was coping with the fact that he cooperated with them in that revenge porn case.
Yeah. They're so weird. Their level of intelligence and understanding on subjects is so bafflingly low that it's like, how did you live this long? Like you can't navigate a cereal box. And they're sitting there like they're talking to this judge and they're like, they can't force us to come in to testify. It's like, well, one, they kind of can. If New York chooses to enforce a Minnesota subpoena, they can force you to come out here. But two, do you not realize that if you don't come testify, they can just use the statements you already made, but they have to threaten you to come out here and you have to refuse it. And then once they don't care if Gino and Keanu came out, to prosecute them. What they needed was unavailable witnesses to overcome a hearsay exception. And so once they had that, they could use the statements that they made publicly and that they made to the police against them pretty simply and say these are reliable but they needed to threaten them with the subpoenas.
So it didn't make any fucking difference at all whether you came out or not.
No, at the end of the day, also, if they needed to, Aaron had said enough about that thing and he did it live. It's not like you're going to be able to deny it.
Yes.
Man, not only did it live, but saw it, boy, your boy didn't do too bad, did he? Looking for the approval.
Oh, let's just say there's a roller coaster of statements, and sometimes your seatbelt doesn't work. There's a lot of things that have happened that might not be very comfortable pretty soon. But he treated the whole thing as if it was completely normal to send a picture non-consensually. But one of the things he's consistently downplayed and tried to avoid is the fact that he took that picture without consent as well. And he acts like because he did it on his show that he somehow like that it was known that a picture was being taken. But he took that picture without consent. He's never had any consent for anything like that at all. But he just tries to gloss that. He's really lucky that we didn't know what picture it was. Because this is the problem. He took the picture on his phone, didn't tell anybody, and sent it to someone who wasn't us. And then he's like, they don't even have the picture. It's like, no, you retard. How would we? You're the only one who had it.
They don't even have the picture.
He thought this was like a bug. It's like, no, this is a feature of how the crime works. And it's like, well, he thinks he could have beaten the charges because they didn't have the photo. It's like, you retard. You admitted to it.
That's the problem. Yes.
So did and Gino admitted to receiving it and described it, and Keanu confirmed that same description. Why do you think they charged you? He's lucky they didn't charge or they didn't pursue the felony, because the day before he did that, Kayla had sent him a message just saying, "Please stop talking about us. Please, you know that like my privacy is like the most important thing. Please stop talking about me." And he sent back, I understand that even when I talk about you positively, that it causes you harm. I will stop. And then the next day he did the revenge porning. So it's like, you've got the intentionality and the knowledge of what was going on. He's an absolutely wicked human being. It's marvelous to see.
Yeah, but when he's in trouble, he'll do anything to try to shift out of it, including these HROs, which is like, it's not even to get him out of trouble, but it is like obviously to insulate him against any further criticism. This is a guy who, and I want to talk about the HROs because that's like fucking, I can't believe that it's gone as far as it has. But did he actually ask that you not be allowed in the courtroom during his sentencing?
Yes.
There's a victim impact statement. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was the victim impact statement was supposed to be delivered at his original sentencing on June 25th. But somebody compiled a list of video clips of him violating his probation and provided it, or his release conditions, and provided it to the release condition officer. And they went through and they're like, holy fuck, like there's so many violations.
Were they all from his shows?
Yeah, all from his shows. And so he has, the court found at that sentencing hearing where he's like, I'm about to be done. I'm going to be sentenced and start my probation. It's like, okay, we'll see. But the court found at that sentencing hearing that he had many violations. And so then what they did was they suspended his sentencing for 3 months and gave him the same conditions. Basically, it was like a try again and let's see how you do. They violated them again a whole bunch of times, including hiring Gino to come out to to fly from New York to a town near where his victim lives to rip her apart in a nasty diatribe on stage. And his defense of that was, well, no one was supposed to record it. Like, that's not a good answer to the question of why you would do this in the first place.
That was strictly for people in her community to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, just
live next door. I mean,
just crazy. But he did that. But so
he did not offer that in court, did he?
His defense was she was like no one was supposed to see it.
Jesus Christ! It was a private event.
But
at first he was saying I was outside, and his lawyer's like that doesn't matter.
Well, he said we told people no recordings. They broke the rules by recording stuff. Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Displaying it to people who are members of the public. So
Yeah.
And it was abysmal. Oh God, it was abysmal. That
Yeah,
I mean, his set was just like, whoa, it's so beyond the pale and so nasty that people just started responding to the pure venom in it. You can't be that filled with venom and have them like into it. You just can't. They didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about half the time.
I am for the most offensive comedy ever, but it's got to be like it should be comedic.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there wasn't anything. There wasn't anything comedic about it. It was venom, exactly
for
like
me.
you said. Well, yeah, you can look at some of it and laugh. But I mean, even me. So he's talking about my wife, and he's saying just some of the nastiest stuff. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, this isn't even like. There's nothing to this that is actually thoughtful or like biting. It's just weirdly gross and angry. And I'm like, she hasn't done anything.
Shots of Jameson will do that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of take the edge off your fucking intelligence a little bit.
But that was probably not good because that also got submitted to Aaron's release conditions officer, and that's when he went to jail. But so that was June 25th.
Wait, hold on a second. I think I solved the mystery. I think that Gino, that's when he. Oh wait, he had obviously already started talking about her because he was doing it there. Okay, never mind. Doesn't make any sense. I was thinking that maybe he was so pissed about that being used against him, you know, and like, you idiot, and plus the set was fucking horrible, you know. I was thinking maybe that was why he started coming after Kayla so much. But it's obviously he was already talking about it because that's what he was in trouble for. Please go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So on June 25th was supposed to be the sentencing hearing. On June 26th is the day he took out the restraining order on me. Once his sentencing hearing didn't happen and he was still under the release conditions, he took out the restraining order on me the next day. And then his October hearing is the one where he requested to the court. He's like, oh, there's a restraining order on this guy. Something that should have been resolved before the October court anyway. Like, June to October should not be any length of time for an HRO. But
not for a temporary restraining order, especially, right? Because that you get automatically. Well, let me ask you this: how come? I mean, I know that you and I've heard. Sometimes I'm not paying full attention, but you guys have the same attorney, right?
Yes.
And so, like, is that why you can't resolve yours?
No. Okay,
because you're in the area. I can understand Melton being in Vegas. It's like, what? But like this, it seems like
people think that I have something to do with Melton's attorney choice, or that I hired him or whatever. I didn't. If I had to guess, I would suspect that Melton hired him because, you know, it's possibly going to save on some work that his attorney would have to do because a lot of the evidence is duplicative, right? So. You've got one guy who kind of knows the situation, hire the same guy.
Like a group.
But nobody asked me really, like, I think they might have said, there might have been a conflict waiver or something where I was like, I don't care. But it wasn't like on my recommendation or consultation.
No.
It's not my business.
I didn't have that idea personally.
Right.
Yeah. So how come it still stretched out so long for you?
So this is a combination of things. Right at the beginning, Aaron gets multiple continuances by firing his attorneys and hiring a new one. And I opposed every single continuance. You know, like, let's just resolve this. Then we had the first half of the hearing because the judge had scheduled like a 1-hour block for this thing. And the hearing ended up being like 2.5 hours, and we weren't close to resolving it. And there's multiple people at fault for that. None of them me. I'm perfect. But there was a bunch of technology issues that happened in the courtroom. I can't talk about any of the like evidence or the questioning, like the actual meat of the hearing. So I have to kind of just let that go. That wasn't really a big problem, though. The main problem was that when they wanted to bring up evidence and like show the witness and the judge and stuff, and then my attorney should have been able to see it, they couldn't get anything to work. And that ate up a ton of the time. It was just a stupid waste. But that hearing finishes up, and then the next time we were supposed to have a hearing to close that off, the judge takes the attorneys into chambers and he says, hey, I want you guys to try and settle this. And I'm like, settle? What do you mean settle this? And so my attorneys come back and they're like, so the judge wants us to try and settle this. We should really try and make a good faith effort. And I'm like, okay, my settlement is this. I want Aaron to retract the HRO thing. And I want him to go online and make a video and says, I'm sorry for being a faggot. Like, that's what I want him to do. And my attorney's like, oh, I'm not going to bring that offer to them. That's my offer. I'm not joking. That is what I want from him to settle this. Otherwise, I'm not really interested.
And the thumbnail has to be this, and it has to be titled.
But so then the judge is like, how's the settlement stuff going? And it's like, well, I mean, here's my thing. And I said, my final offer is I will not accept anything that impacts my speech. I'm not gonna not talk about Aaron or have, and it's not about talking about, I don't want to talk about this guy most of the time.
Right.
But if something comes up and a super chat comes in or like a video clip or something that someone sends in, and like what happened to him where he accidentally showed a picture of Kayla, like I don't want to be on guard for this for the next 2 years.
Under threat of jail.
Right. And if I have a violation of a restraining order, my probation on my drug case can be revoked. This is like, I don't want anything like this.
No, that's a deal breaker. It's not even, it's a non-starter.
Yeah. So my settlement was like, look, not a restraining order, but I'll agree to not go anywhere near him. I don't want to go near this guy. I don't want to go to his house. I don't want to be anywhere near him at all. He can't really be around me because if he comes within 500 feet of my wife or whatever, he goes to jail. And so I'm like,
problem solved.
He's such a fag. God.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't even fuck with him anyways.
Right. And so I'm like, I don't mind that part of it, but you're not going to restrict my speech. I didn't do anything wrong in this situation. I didn't ever harass him. Like, this is someone who, if there weren't a justice system, would not be allowed to do what he's been doing. It's crazy. And I have been, like, all I've done is make fun of him and laugh. That's it. I haven't like tried to tough guy him or say, oh my gosh. I've never made a threat against him at all. And he
hates that the most, I think.
Probably. Like he's been trying to pick a fight for a while because he thinks that'll drive engagement. But I don't really care about like his world. Our YouTube channels don't really overlap.
He's been trying to pick a fight. He's also been trying to pick
that was weird and gross. But so yeah, like that's my settlement is fine. I don't care about the physical stuff, but I want it to be non-criminal, just contractually, and we can agree to some sort of damages or whatever. But also like no speech restrictions. I'm not going to do that. That was my my drop dead thing, and their drop dead thing had to be no mentions of him directly or indirectly for 2 years.
That was off.
That was his only settlement condition that had to be there. And so I'm like, we're miles apart. We'll never reconcile that gulf. So I'm like, let's go. Let's do the hearing.
Now,
can
I ask you this? I'm not an attorney, though I dress like one. The point of this is that as soon as I heard about that his main contention here is that he would drop the restraining orders if you would agree to not speak of him for a determined amount of time. Wouldn't that derail the case altogether? I mean, is the judge aware of this? Because he just like, all right, this is ridiculous. He's right admitting he's not threatened by you or anything like that. He's only upset at your commentary.
Yeah, he's only upset about the thing that the judicial system isn't really supposed to be able to touch at all.
Right. Yes.
And
so
again,
he was asking, is the judge aware that offer was made?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm a
that
little
doesn't
bit.
move the needle.
I would think that would be a ruling that I'm dismissing this.
So this judge has us do this settlement conference it was like 7 hours of negotiation where we remain at the same impasse for something like 4 of those hours. And then, so the judge's like, okay, well, he ordered me to produce an offer for settlement, which I already said I wasn't going to do. He ordered me to produce an offer for settlement by December 1st. And if not, if we couldn't accept that offer, or if they wouldn't accept the offer, we would go to trial, the judge said. So we produced the offer by December 1st, which didn't change, and their position didn't change. Fine, let's dance. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then the judge scheduled another settlement conference.
Oh man.
Which
And-
has the practical effect of, you're the
Of
one
just
that gets
delaying
fucked.
it out.
I mean, yeah, because he's
Yeah.
getting what he wants in the meantime.
Right. And so my attorney sends a thing saying like, hey, there's no way we're going to settle. His attorney lies to the judge and says, no, I think we're close. I think we're close to settlement. Like, how? That's like saying Jupiter and Mercury are close. There's no way we get from one to the other ever. So what are we doing?
So he's dragging it out. He's just like abusing the court system a little.
Because we should have had a hearing before Hackamania, but he did this thing, and then the judge is like, well, let's do another scheduling or status conference or whatever, and then they pick that day after Hackamania, where my in-person attendance was mandated. I had to change my flights and everything, and mind you, I'm not going to settle. This has been communicated to the judge. We are not going to settle. We want to go to trial on this. And the judge mandated my attendance, and I had to speak like 5 words at the hearing. That's it. That's all I did. And I was like, thank you, Your Honor.
God.
Dick. No,
To make it
Yeah,
five.
be careful now.
Well, like what I don't get is this is all over him getting you can get a temporary restraining order against somebody, and you would have to go to trial over that.
Yeah, so call it trial, but it's an evidentiary hearing. Normally, a temporary restraining order evidentiary hearing is like an hour long. Someone comes in and says, hey, this person's following me, or they're making a bunch of phone calls. I asked them to stop. They keep calling my workplace. I need the court's help to stop. And the other person will be like, no, I had a right to call their workplace 52 times on Thursday. And the judge is like, okay, we've met the threshold for harassment. Don't do this shit anymore. If you do again, it's criminal.
Right.
It's really simple back and forth. But with all the online commentary and stuff, there's a whole bunch of potential evidence. And, they went through all of the things that he accused me of. I can't talk about them at all, which is baffling. But that was at his attorney's request too, that this stupid gag order where we can't talk about the hearings was his attorney's request. Really never wanted any of this talked about.
So you're not allowed to discuss the dumb bullshit he's accusing you of.
Right. And he isn't either. So it's even that way between us. But so this was supposed to be what's called a sequestration order, so that like if I testified about something, it wouldn't taint another witness. If I talked to them, that would be a problem. But once the collection of evidence is done, the sequestration order should end, because I can't taint another witness, right? Like there are none. There's no more witnesses to talk.
Right.
And so, but the judge is like, we're going to keep the sequestration order in effect. You're just going to go ahead and completely impair my First Amendment for no legitimate purpose.
Right.
And so I'm trying to
Wow.
get that lifted now.
Damn. So that's where you're at now, trying to get the sequestration order lifted.
Yeah. And none of this should take this long though. And that, some of that I think is my main attorney did get, he has a medical issue that he's been dealing with that caused a delay. And I believe he may have asked for an extension of time without talking to me about it, because I didn't know that it was happening. So then the judge, in like his demand that I show up after Hackamania, he's like, this this extension was requested on your behalf. I'm like, motherfucker, no, they didn't. Like, I was pissed. And I still haven't I have never seen this requested extension. The court hasn't produced it for me, and neither have my attorneys. So I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Was the medical situation cocaine addiction?
No, it's a legitimate one. I just don't want to talk
Right.
Yeah. But the fact that like it wasn't really communicated to me, and that there may have been an extension, because my whole thing from the start was, we're going to oppose every request for every extension.
Right.
Because this is crazy. He all he wanted to do was drag that thing out as long as he could, obviously. And now it's going to go even longer, because the judge's briefing schedule is until August 21st. He gave the attorneys 11 weeks to write a 3-page brief, or not a 3-page, but the 3 briefs. The brief, then the response, then the reply to the response, right? So he gave them 11 weeks to do all that. And then he has up to 30 days to rule after that, which is it's September 21st or something. It's like, are you fucking kidding?
This could go into next year.
But I would love to talk about the hearing so much, because it was so much fun. It was so fucking funny. And, I can't verify anything, but there are a couple places that streamed some eyewitness accounts of it, and people should check them out.
Some of the, yeah. Where can we find that?
Well, there is.
You're probably not allowed to say that either.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well,
he's
I just
allowed to
can't.
say that.
I can't. This little piggy show talked about it. There's this crazy lady who stalks my family. She goes by a timid tiger on Twitter, and I think she went on some shows and talked about it. I encourage people to listen to both, like all the sides. Like, if you want to hear about it, you should listen to all of the reporters who talked about it. Don't like pick a side or pick a story.
And don't pick your nose, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, don't do that. Dude, he looks at that thing like right there. He's like, maybe there's something I could do with that. Like, I swear he realized he was on camera and didn't eat it.
Yeah.
Probably.
It suddenly occurred to him, like, oh, that's right, I'm live as
But
usual.
But I would love to talk about it. It was, it's very funny. Like the whole like process to me was a blast.
I did listen to this little piggy when they were talking about that part of it. Anyway, I don't know if I caught the whole thing, and it is really fucking funny. Really funny. Some of the shit that you're saying is just sorry I asked type shit.
Well, so lawyers have this thing. You tell your client, like, don't talk to the cops, because cops are better at asking questions and getting answers than you are. They do this every day. You don't. So don't talk to cops. Very rare exceptions, of course. People are better than the investigator. But usually, even a dumb cop has done this every day for the past couple of years, where most people don't have to be interrogated or do an interrogation either way. The next step down is lawyers who do this in court all the time, and they have very targeted ways of asking questions to get an answer, to produce an answer that they already know. They just need it on a record. They're quite good at it, and the people on the stand usually aren't. They don't have to do this. Sometimes the person on the stand is a gigantic asshole
and a lawyer
with a really good memory, and can recall facts very well and dates. Sometimes that happens. And so you better, the best analogy I can come up with, there was a debate a couple years back between Ben Shapiro and Cenk Uygur, who are both lawyers. I didn't realize Cenk was his JD from Georgetown.
seems hard to believe.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, you got two lawyers who are going to debate something. If you're going to go on stage and debate Ben Shapiro, you better know every goddamn tiny detail of your subject, because he'll just bury you in trivia, if nothing else. And he will sound correct even if he's not. And Cenk was in there. He's like, listen, your policy, blah, blah, blah. And Ben Shapiro comes up and turns on the Micro Machines voice. And it's just like, Judaism. And you're like, oh, my God. And he just annihilates Cenk.
Plus,
and it's like
just an extreme intellectual fucking difference there between Cenk Uygur
It's uneven there.
Yeah.
It seems that way to me, anyhow.
And so some lawyers have been called alcoholics, and some lawyers look like they just woke up from a 4-day bender every time they're in court. And and that guy, I don't think he was prepared. I do not think he was prepared. He didn't think through his questions very well. They didn't know the answers, and that was their biggest problem with all of it. Was his lawyer was consistently surprised by what I would say, and
They hate that.
it's like, how did you not know this? You could have found this out if you had tried, but you didn't. Or you listened to your client, and your client, you have to know, is lying. Like, you have to know that this guy is lying. He lies to you all the time, I'm sure. But he lies in a way that like juices him up, I'm guessing.
It's immoral that what he's even doing to begin with. I mean,
I agree.
Yes.
But and yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, this is complete pussy bullshit. You know that's what you're defending, and you didn't write it. We understand that you have to defend it as your job, but like you have to know that. And so then you have, and but I'm sure Aaron had prepared Mr. Brian Johnson to talk to me by saying, "Oh, he's a cokehead. He doesn't know anything about the law. He's a liar." And blah. It's like, okay, if that's how you want to play it, you know I talked to this guy a lot for a while, and he knows exactly who I am and how I do stuff. And Aaron's opinions change, with the wind to try and get into his favor. But before he hated me, he listened to me talk about a lot of subjects and learned a lot about them. He should have known that I would know a lot about my own life.
Right. You were not going to be a pushover kind of fucking a witness in that
But he's
case,
blinded by his hatred and jealousy of you, so that's this driving force.
And then he doesn't actually there's two Aarons,
No.
There's the Aaron on the show who's like all, like fucking
It's there.
full of fucking, he's ready to fucking fight and shit like that. Nick, I box him around a little bit, whatever, and all that kind of shit. And then there's the court Aaron who's like, oh my God, he's coming after me. Can't they just show the two next to each other and go, how do you reconcile this?
The problem with court, the good and bad part of it, is it's such a formalized proceeding. And a lot of people have been asking the same question this whole time. And it's a valid question, but it's like, why don't they just get rid of this? Why doesn't the judge just see this? Why don't you just tell the judge this? You have to have the opportunity to do it. And that's the most frustrating part, is you have to sit there and wait for your ability to say anything. You have to wait through the process. And that was the whole issue this whole time, is that the process has been stymied from even occurring. It's like, well, I would love to tell the judge about all the goofy shit that's been going on and tell him why nothing I've ever done is harassing or falls under the statute or anything at all. But I can't until he lets me speak. And so it's been a process.
And the judge is not particularly interested in it, obviously, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. Usually, they let this stuff go. But sometimes, like, this is the longest restraining order case in Stearns County history. It's the longest one ever.
So you're making history.
So, yeah.
But it's like,
that's 1,400 people, and you've never had it's bigger than that, I'm sure. But
yeah, so Stearns County has St. Cloud, which is about 90,000 people.
okay,
in
that's
it.
big.
Yeah, and my county is much smaller. But either way, it's like so there may be some passing interest in it. Plus, like Aaron's revenge porn stuff hit the news. The judge undoubtedly knows about this case, especially because anytime he and I have been in either court, there's some sort of disruption from people, like a whole lot of people in the courtroom or someone on a Zoom call, like doing something. And so there's like a little bit of intrigue that comes along with that, like stuff's out of the ordinary. And when I was sitting in, about to go to my hearing, my arraignment, I had been arrested, and I look at the Zoom call, and there's like hundreds of people in the Zoom call. And I looked at the sheriff there, the corrections guy, and I said, "Do you have any idea what's about to happen at all?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, not like, "Do you know who I am?" I'm like, "I know some of you guys, have come out to my house and stuff. Do you know who I am?" Not in a like, I don't know how I said it. It wasn't like, "Do you know who I am?" It was like, "Have you ever heard of like me?" And he goes, "No. We usually have a couple people observing." I was like, "Oh, buddy." And then, I get on he puts me on camera like 2 seconds later, and someone goes, "Kill yourself, you piece of shit." And I'm like, "You guys have," and the clerk is like trying to mute people in real time and stuff. You guys have no idea.
Is
So
this
like,
the hearing where this happened?
whoa!
Is that?
No, that was her arraignment. She was sitting in this chair at that moment. So.
Excellent. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, it's Brian Landon Test Stream, $4.99. What time is it there, Nick? Well done to you and your team with all your pleadings, crushing it.
It is pi o'clock, 3:14 a.m.
Oh, we're in the same time zone.
Here's, do you mind if we do a couple of super tips?
Go for it.
All right.
How do I get to bang Nick's wife? Is there a website to bang Nick's wife?
Yes.
Do I have to be dating a slow and then call Nick to bang his wife?
If you're asking that, I'm guessing it's not going to work, buddy. just a thought. She is a cutie, though, so I get why you'd want to.
Here's, I don't know, I guess this is okay here. It's a picture image. It looks like it's Aaron as a Weeble Wobble.
That's pretty good.
But remember the Weebles. Thanks so much,
Yeah, I remember
Cash.
those.
All right, that's it.
It's a good Aaron.
Yeah. When you see him now, I mean, do you watch his show? Like, I mean, are you legally do you need to watch
You're
it?
not
I
allowed
guess?
to watch
I'm restrained. No, I don't tend to watch his show. I peruse the clips to see if there's, if there's any chance that he mentions Kayla or whatever. Here's the thing. I don't really care if he is punished or not punished or whatever, like further. And I don't really want to be watching this, but I do care that he not talk about her. Like, he lost that permission to do that when he shared that image, and like, hey, you've actually gone from, you were able to talk about somebody freely to now you've specifically harassed them in a really disgusting way. So
Been warned and then still done it and everything. I mean, he's really earned the spot.
yeah, he's very much a piece of shit. But I don't watch like his whole show. For a while, it was more likely that he would. So I'd listen on 3X or whatever and just hear if there was, I'd listen for my name or her name or whatever. But really, since he took out the restraining order, he pulled back. For a while, he didn't even mention me because he was trying to like get the court to go to like, he was trying to fool the court, but he just couldn't, then it got delayed so long he couldn't stop, and he had to bring it back up as a subject. But I only really check the clips most of the time, unless someone's like, you need to watch this section, because the Clippers they're not interested in the same stuff that I am.
I'm sure that if he mentions her name, it's going to be clipped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd think so, but the Clippers there's not a criticism, but there have been a couple things where they like missed a reference or whatever that would have been about her, and he's technically not even allowed to reference her, but he pulled off this amazing thing. You got to give him credit where credit's due. His probation officer is a moron. Like, I don't know how else to say it. She's this old lady, and she's dumb. He drew like the luckiest card on the planet, and he convinced her that anything where he might have screwed up, that's probably AI. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
And so
That's got to just be laziness.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. So.
she's like, I can't, because like she's on the phone with me crying. She's like, I can't verify that this is real and not fake. I'm like, you can actually do that. Like, it's not even hard. But
You need a different job then, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
This is your job
Yeah.
to know this shit. Oh my God, that's pathetic. This is $2 from Starborn. Shouldn't you have the RO against him in reality?
yes, but I'm not a pair of labia. So,
Not even a single labia.
like, there are circumstances in which I would consider a restraining order against someone. I can't think of too many for me. You know, they would have to like really threaten to do something to me. But I could certainly like, I think I mentioned earlier, there's a guy following my family around, taking pictures of my kids, and he took pictures of my daughter and also posted where she was one time on Twitter.
That's no good.
Right. And so, like, that's a person where, on behalf of my kids, I would certainly consider like a restraining order so that he can't do that. But I don't give a shit if he takes a picture of me out in public and posts it. Like, I don't care.
Right.
But like in the theory of could I? Yeah, I mean, he's threatened to harm me specifically for 2 years. Like, anytime it comes up, he's like, "I'll kill that guy." So how do you get the restraining
Well,
order?
that's pretty clear.
Landon wants to know: do you pay Melton's legal fees?
Not a penny.
didn't
I don't
think-
know what his fee arrangement is. I don't know how much he has paid, will pay. I don't know anything about their agreement. I know nothing about it. I want nothing to do with it. I would not pay another man's legal fees, like, unless it's my son, you know.
I had this same problem with Gino, the 2-year order of protection, which it seemed a little lengthy to me, considering it took over a year. I'm in a different state, you know, and when I was in court, this was a little annoying because there's nothing in there that specifically says, you know, it's, you know how the language is. There's certain shit I'm not allowed to say about him. I can't threaten him, obviously, you know,
Right.
during that time. But I was making sure I am able to talk about him, right? And I never should have brought it up because the prosecutor, well, that's harassment. And the judge is like, well, if you're talking about him in an unfavorable way, that is harassment. So,
It's like, what does that even mean? What is an unfavorable way?
right.
He's
what was-
Italian? Ew, disgusting.
Well, that was not the word. It wasn't unfavorable. What was it? It was a particular word, though. Demeaning, maybe something like that, though.
Yeah.
You know, that made and I was like, "Fuck," you know. But then I was really unable to talk about him. I was just like, if I can't talk about him in a shit way, then I'm probably never going to talk about him. And I waited till it was up. But it really does put you on guard. I mean, like it's like living under the. Whatever the Pericles thing.
The sword
of Damocles, yeah.
That too, yeah.
In Minnesota, a violation of a restraining order, an alleged violation with probable cause, is an arrestable offense. Like, they will come to you and put you in handcuffs and take you to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
you'll
is
get
punching
out.
a guy. That's also apparently.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, they didn't. Did they ever handcuff you?
No.
On that one?
Well, yeah, they did. They put me in a paddy wagon with a bunch of, prostitutes and druggies and stuff.
Oh, that's
And,
cool.
I had to wait there for a long time. It was a little cold. And then I had to be, I was in central booking for about 6 hours. I mean, the
best
whole
part-
thing.
The best part about becoming a criminal is, like, they introduce you to the best people. Okay.
I made some good friends.
I had a chemical use assessment because they're like, you had a large amount of substances in your house. I'm like, it was just wholesale, baby. Like, I just didn't want to go back to the Twin Cities to restock. So, but they're like, you had a large amount, and so, you know,
They didn't see the logic of that, I'm sure,
we
if
need
you
to-
put that forward.
we need to see if you need treatment or whatever. And so, you do this chemical use assessment with a licensed alcohol and drug counselor. And so I get mine set up and I go there, and I do things straightforward, especially when it comes to court. Never fucking, like, I'm sorry, don't lie. Some lawyers will be like, don't lie about anything. Don't hold anything back, especially on this stuff. So I just lay out. She's like, go through your drug history from birth. And I'm like, I don't know. I tried pot a couple times in high school, and didn't really do anything. And then I had it a little bit in college. I drank a little bit in college, but not much. I drank like vodka cranberries like a woman. And then when I became a lawyer, I was like,
a
well,
woman on
lawyers.
her period, even.
Right.
Real quick, though,
Yeah.
they do still have the same attorney. I can confirm that, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks. That's it.
So it's like then after I go to law school, and a lot of my friends in law school, we would go out and drink after class and stuff. And because I went to night classes, to be clear, we weren't drinking at noon. But so I was like, well, lawyers drink whiskey. So I started drinking whiskey and getting into it, and then I really liked it or whatever. But so then I, drank whiskey pretty significant amounts, and then I did cocaine for like 2 years and other hard drugs like Molly and ketamine. And so I was flat out honest. And she goes, I can't diagnose you as an addict. You have a substance abuse problem, but you don't have substance use disorder. And so a bunch of people had told me, like, go to rehab, get clean or whatever. And she's like, you can't just go to rehab. They have a limited amount of beds. They won't just take you into inpatient. Now you could go to like the celebrity rehab somewhere, but like, you can't just go to a lot of rehab centers in Minnesota. You have to have a prescription and a referral for it. Because somebody who really has an addiction problem needs the bed if you're not there.
And rehab is like, I don't know, man. I went through my own substance things or whatever. I haven't drank in a long time. Tonight might be the night. But I mean, I think that sometimes people go to rehab to avoid shit rather than, I have my fucking
a
own
bunch of
problems.
my lawyer law tube friends had that shitty recommendation. I'm like, wait, so you want me to admit to having a substance abuse problem while I'm being prosecuted for cocaine possession? No. What are you talking about? But so
here's a question that seems to be pointed. Why communicate with to ice dancer via signal? He wants to know.
So send a follow-up, and my question back to you is your problem that I communicated with Ice Dancer or that I did it via signal? What's the thrust of your question? Send a follow-up chat, and I'll answer, the whichever one you ask. I just want to make sure I'm asking or answering the precise question. So, no problem. But yeah, so where was I? Oh yeah. So she's like, I can't diagnose you as an addict. So I did have to go to treatment, but it was outpatient. It was like 40 hours. It was like the lowest level thing you could do, relapse prevention. And I did that, but like, I forgot the guy.
Well, the whole thing you were saying was like, what, when you went in, you did this whole assessment or whatever, and this is where you wound up.
Yeah, and I mean, it's where I've stayed the whole time. It's quitting for me wasn't hard. One, threat of prison helps, but two, I didn't really go through any withdrawal. I mean, I might have had something happen, but I might have felt sick. I couldn't have told you if it was withdrawal symptoms or if I had like just a fever or a viral infection or something. But I never really went through big withdrawal stuff. I didn't have to deal with any of that. I was really fortunate that way. But
yeah, I had a gift too. But you seem like the only time I ever saw you really fucked up was that one time when apparently one girl was licking your balls and the other one's going down on your dick, and
that didn't happen. I wish. No,
so you just felt that good sitting there.
Usually, I took Molly all the time.
This guy really likes to stream.
So, you don't get into substance use issues like just randomly. Like you can use substances just randomly. Like, oh, this will be a fun thing. I was doing Molly every day. I had other things going on in my life that I was trying to escape. A lot of things were collapsing.
Fucking 5 kids and shit. Right?
And a lot of things were collapsing at the last, like all at the same time. And like the kids' schedules was a lot. I mean, we drove well over 100 miles a day, transporting the kids around every single day. The reason, like, we had a nanny for a while, and then April, we hired April as our nanny when the other one left is because we needed 3 people driving every single day to get the kids to their different activities. This is not a good schedule, but it was a schedule that we had, and we couldn't change it at the point where we were, if that makes sense. Like,
Time to do Molly.
yeah, it got like, but like, so I mean, every night I'm fucking exhausted, dealing with some depression issues and the things that were causing it and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I would do Molly almost like pretty much every night to kind of just feel good.
Yeah,
And-
that's what it's for, right? I thought that the idea was you can't do Molly all the time because it starts to
That's what they say.
not work, right?
No, so
I'm sure that people have done research.
the problem with Molly is it dumps your serotonin, and eventually you can run into the serotonin deprivation where you don't have any serotonin ever, so you stop being able to absorb it as well, and that's when you run into real problems. And if you persist for a long time, it can fuck your brain up, I guess. And
It's actually a drug that there's like a built-in stop switch there, and like you cannot enjoy this drug anymore.
yeah, kind of. And you can't enjoy a lot of things. Like it takes away because you need something to help trigger the serotonin production and reuptake.
Need a drug for that. Let me ask
but
you.
You
go
supplement
ahead.
with something called 5-HTP, which is an herbal supplement, and it's been shown to be completely, or not completely, but very much mitigate the depletive effects. Helps you replenish serotonin very quickly. 5-HTP is like this wonder supplement that you can buy on Amazon that if you have like moderate depression, it produces the same outcome as antidepressants like SSRIs, except it doesn't fuck with your serotonin intake. It just helps you produce more.
Now at this time, you're still allowed to do all the kratom you want, right?
No, kratom is not allowed.
Damn.
So the restriction I have is no mind or mood altering substances, including alcohol, whatever that means.
No mind or mood altering, so no caffeine, no tobacco. If you did that,
Caffeine and tobacco are just fine, shockingly. Which is weird because it's like both of those are definitely mind and mood altering substances.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anything I have a prescription for is okay also. So like I technically have a weed prescription. I almost never use it. I fucking hate marijuana. I don't like depressants. I have narcolepsy, and if I take a depressant, I drop.
you have legitimate narcolepsy.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you'll just like fucking is that as extreme as we would be led to believe that you just
No, mine isn't. Mine isn't. Like the Mr. Bean narcolepsy from Rat Race or whatever, where he's
or The Sopranos, that dude.
But I can lay down on a bed, and outside of times where I'm under a lot of anxiety, like if I'm just a normal day, if I lay down on a bed, I am asleep in under 5 minutes every time.
Nice.
So, and
Hey, I know that you probably. I know that April is like not interested in any of this shit. She's like, we don't see her stream ever. I'd love to see her on a stream, but she's
Yeah, me
never
too.
going to do that. Apparently, how did you guys leave it? I mean, are you guys on good terms, or what? Did you part on good terms? I don't think I know anything about that, and maybe it's none of my business.
we parted on good terms. We'll always be friends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so you're
But
still.
she started dating someone very shortly after that. And suddenly, I wasn't, we weren't talking anymore at that point.
Understandable.
And which hurt a lot, but it was probably for the best, honestly. Because, the hardest part was leaving on good terms. But that relationship wasn't going to work out for some other reasons, but it wasn't because we didn't like each other. It wasn't any of that. And so it left this kind of void there that was really hard for me to deal with for a really long time.
Wow.
But in the end is probably for the best. Cause if we were still in communication during that, I don't know how that would have gone. There's no way that would have,
You'd be fucking.
something would have given at some point, or something would have exploded in a negative way. Who knows?
So a lot of times when people, it seems like they have an arrangement, it's only for the physical, but apparently like there's no problem with you having this like emotional kind of attachment too. I mean, you have a very secure wife, I would say.
Well, like, I think she just we've been through a lot together, had a very long and very good relationship for most of it. We went through some rough patches, as you do, but she knows. At first, I think she was suspicious. She was worried that I was like sneaking off or like whatever. But I think she found out that like whatever feelings and stuff were there was just like because there's leftover feelings. Like it was an unresolved thing. But to pursue it, like if I wanted to keep going with her, I would have had to get a divorce, and I didn't want to do that. I've always very much loved Lady Rackets. That's never been a thing that wasn't true. I never wanted to leave her or anything. And so, I think it basically became, we can't do this. And so then it was like, all right, well, ouch a lot, but them's the ropes. And then if I would get sad or whatever, she knows why. She knows I'm not like running on, like going, oh God, I'm going to run off and do this. It's just like, well, April became like, aside from everything, she became for a while like one of my very best friends. Like we did all normal stuff we did all the time together. Like we, go to the store, go to restaurants, the three of us or any combination of the two of us. So we watch TV, all the things that you normally do, we did together all the time. So all of a sudden that Band-Aid was ripped off, and it's like, well, I don't have to have sex with my friend to miss them. Like I would like to just sit down and watch an anime, or like we would watch UFC together. It's like the three of us, and it's like that was fun. And so,
and if one thing leads to another, then that's.
But it's like, then it's like, well, I don't really want to watch UFC anymore, because like then it makes you feel like it makes you miss the the connection. And so she's been great, of course, and very tolerant of that. But she also knows that like it's not because I want to be somewhere else. It's just because we made some decisions that ended up not working out, and now you got to process the trash that's left over.
I don't know if you can talk about this, but whenever you were all together, the four of you, when did you start to see the seams start to show on their marriage?
So before everything, but then it seemed to be mended when like everything kind of fired up or whatever. So everything really like fired up around my birthday in December of 23.
Was that the hot tub stream?
No. No, that was Naked Twister. It's actually a misnomer. It's Strip Twister. So you start off in clothes, and whoever falls has to take off clothes, right?
And you get done with that. You get done with that twister board, just throw it away, man. It smells like ass. Man.
So this is my stupid brainchild, and I was like, this is going to be fun. Like, I want to play the Strip Twister. That sounds great. It's a terrible idea. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but when you're 40 and you play Twister, all you want to do is die. Yeah. Your legs are, your arms are. So we get done and like playing a couple rounds of Twister, and like it was fun because like you knock the women over, right? And so then they have to take off a piece of clothing. It's great, tons of fun, and get done with Twister. It's like I can't move. I need a paramedic and a fucking chiropractor. So it wasn't productive in the like it was funny. It was more akin to like playing a game in college with like you get a couple people from the dorm and a couple cheerleaders and you play Strip Twister and it'd be a blast. But like nobody was fucking after Strip Twister.
Well, yeah, so we went naked. It's like naked comedy. It makes comedy less funny. It makes nudity less sexy.
Yeah, and so we after that I was like, let's put the clothes back on, and fucking go to dinner. But that was like the time that everything kind of like started up. But so before that, though, you know, as late as November, they were on the ropes. That relationship almost ended in November, but they decided to get together, and then by the time everything started up, they were great and in a good place. Is what was
they had
represented.
something to look forward to.
Yeah, and that was not true at all. And then the fraying started pretty quickly.
That they just weren't in the same place as far as all this stuff, and
You know,
generally,
that type of situation is really, it's not for most people at all. You have to have a particular like outlook on relationships. You have to have a particular outlook on your own security, like who you are. And let me just suggest that I don't know that anybody was ready for any of that type of stuff. And so the fraying happens really quickly, you know. But then you try and patch it over and try and just do a bunch of drugs, and then everything's okay for a bit.
yeah.
But
that
but
can,
yeah,
that
and
can
then,
extend a marriage for sure.
yeah, by the time that April leaves him, just April 4th, I think it was, when she moved out, like it was constant. It was a disaster. Like I have a bunch of text messages from him that are like, look, I know she's basically chosen to live with you guys and doesn't even want me around anymore. It's like, yeah, go away.
Yeah, what is it about? What is it that put you in that direction? Right? Was it that she packed her clothes and took them there and left her wedding ring on the fucking? I mean, like that's the thing that cracked me up about that picture and that text was that he puts the picture of his wife, the void that she's left. You know, she's left all her shit. The closet's empty. It's a picture of the empty closet, and he's like, really?
He's like, really, bro? I'm not even mad. Oh yeah, sure. You sound not mad.
No, you're not.
But
Signal, why not text? Brian wants to know.
I don't know. I communicate with a whole bunch of people on a whole bunch of like whatever platform that people are comfortable using. I use Signal for tons of different communications. There's nothing special about it at all. You can set up Signal to delete text messages or whatever after a certain amount of time. Generally speaking, I want one extra layer of security between my messages and the world, and Signal, for better or worse, is end-to-end encrypted, and it's one of the best programs to do that with. But you can do the same type of stuff on Messenger and Twitter and Instagram. They all have, and WhatsApp, they all have like security stuff, disappearing messages or whatever. So I don't know. I use Signal and not text because I use Signal and not text. I use Signal all the time. It's convenient to have it all in one spot too.
Yeah, and Twitter is weird to keep, when you DM people on Twitter, it's like, fuck, my private shit is so close to all this public shit.
Yeah.
Just proximity-wise, it's weird.
Yep, it's you made Aaron and April get Signal. I didn't make anybody do anything. But here's why that's important. This is a thing that has to be built on trust and privacy. And there was an agreement that no matter what happened, everything would remain private. Mm-hmm. 4 people agreed to that. Mm-hmm. Signal was, again, another way to kind of just add a layer of security to the messages. That's all.
I mean, if you want to fuck a guy's wife, you better be willing to download an app.
But it's like, and then one person breached that privacy. He broke that agreement and that contract. And, it's like, there are very few things that you can do that are lower than taking someone's private life that will damage them, that you promised you would never mention, and then just displaying it to the world for your own ego or benefit or whatever. Like that's something that you just don't do to people in general. I mean,
why do you suppose? I mean, like, just curious if you have an answer. Why would he? I understand that he figured like he wanted to get ahead of the story. You guys couldn't talk, so he's going to go ahead and just have just run the court, for a while. But he made himself look much worse, and it was so unnecessary and was really ugly. And I mean, of course, salacious. Everybody loved it, but it was gross. And I think we could all see, like, why is this? Why is he doing this? Why do you suppose he would? Choose to reveal all this shit publicly? I understand what he gets out of it, but most people would do that calculus and go, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I think he thought. Well, there were a couple things. I think one of the things he thought was that I was going to go to prison forever. Because he's stupid. Like that, he had no concept. So he thought that I would go to prison. He was really hurt by being rejected. Like, he was really hurt, and he lashed out at the people that were most vulnerable to it the most viciously. Because he noticed he really, like, he just said I was a piece of shit. Right? It's like you couldn't dig up a single embarrassing thing to share with the world. Like you couldn't do anything. You just basically told people that I was a piece of shit. Like I got a cum story coming for you. But it's like
so that's real. He actually, I mean, I know you've been over it, I'm sure.
But
you
I don't mind going over it again.
You came on his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
So.
Oh, wait, real quick. To hide your conversations, he says, scumbag. Address it or not, I don't care. I'd rather hear about the cum.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so, but to hide my conversations, yes, of course, it was to be a private group chat. Oh, he's talking about Signal with Ice Dancer.
I guess, but I mean, isn't the whole idea to like who doesn't want their conversations hidden?
Right. Like, I'm a lawyer. I know I'm suspended, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm a lawyer. I talk to people in a secure way all the time. Who do you think I'm hiding the conversation from? I talk to my wife on Signal too. Like, if I'm hiding it from her, she's going to discover it. Like that's not a thing. So who am I hiding it from? And who has a right to that communication anyway? That's a weird question that you need to ask. Like, why do you need to know who I have a DM with or what's in it? Why shouldn't I want that to be private? It's a private message for a reason.
Yeah,
and the reason is
there is a sort of an editorial difference in private and hiding.
Yeah, and hiding was his word, so I used it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's like, so the question is, who do you think I'm hiding it from? Like, what's the thing? Because you don't have access to my text messages, so me putting it on Signal doesn't like change the calculus for Brian Landon or whatever. So I'm running
Last I
into.
checked, he's not even allowed to read your mail anymore.
No, not after the incident.
So you came on his wife. Then what?
So I then, like, you gotta go clean the pipes. So I go to the bathroom to clean the pipes, and he comes into the room, and he looks at her. He locks eyes with her and smiles. And she's laying there like it's not a secret. And he smiles at her and he just goes right for it and just goes for the lick. People have made some like they've made some assumptions or whatever. They're like that he was like involved in some way or there was like a gay thing. That would be funny, but it's not true. The funniest thing is always true.
I think he's involved in a gay way here.
There's
Okay,
some
yeah.
gay here.
Okay, but like contact between me and him.
Right, I know what you mean.
Now, whatever people's headcanon needs to be, I don't care. Like, again, you can't take my kids. Like, you're not the government, so I don't care what you think about me. But like there was no like there wasn't any interaction between he and I. I didn't know that this happened right away. April told me, she's like, you will not fucking believe what just happened. And so
I could imagine her facial expression would change. At that,
Well,
I mean,
so
like, how does he play that off? Like, yes,
so here's the
I'm here, my darling.
here's maybe the weirdest part. I don't know. So it was I've never experienced anything like this before, right? Or since. Like this is a bafflingly funny situation for me.
Yeah.
But so he goes down, he takes a taste or whatever. You would expect something to follow, maybe. Like maybe he's like, this is my hot opening move or something. I not my thing, but maybe that's what's going through his head. He then walks away. He doesn't like, he just walks away. He doesn't like.
Oh, that was the end of it.
Oh, he
Yeah.
didn't make out with her or anything?
He didn't make out with her. Like you could see, like I hate to be gross, but like you could see maybe he'd think it'd be good to like snowball it or something. Like I don't know. Like maybe.
You must have had something in mind, you would think, yeah.
But
It's
no,
not just because
like,
I know I came in here just to get a taste, and now, what do you want to do?
the message was, or what she said. She's like, he didn't even try to fuck me afterwards.
Jeez.
And so it was like this super weird situation. And to this day, I don't quite know what was going on in his head. I have some theories, but like she's telling me this story, and like she told me this right away. And I was like, well, that's fucking strange. But then, like time goes on, you kind of don't think about it. But then after everything went down, and I think Tookie asked him the question someone asked a question on Twitter of him. It was like, are the baby bird rumors true? And I don't know where the baby bird rumors started or whatever, but he said, yum.
Oh, my
In
God.
response,
One word, yum.
yum.
So he's pretty much, yeah, it's safe to keep calling him a cum eater,
Yes.
cum lapper.
Every single story I have told, I made sure of this, could be backed up by text messages or, some level of evidence. Because all this stuff is very, embarrassing. It's embarrassing for everybody, but like you stuck with the situation. So you don't go after people like this without being like, and I don't mean people like this. I mean, you don't go after people in this manner,
Right.
without being really damn sure of what you're going to say.
Yeah. And knowing that it's all fucking sewn up. And yeah, I mean, I try to make everything like that as much as possible. It is a
Right.
good way to be. But it's so personal, and I mean, that must have been a real fucking nightmare. Were you just watching like Kino Casino going like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, I've seen very little of the stuff, but there's no benefit in me watching, any of that.
No, I know the feeling.
And
I mean, not exactly. I know the feeling.
the really tough thing is there's a mix. Everything he does is a mixture of truth and fiction, and so there's a bunch of stuff that's true and a bunch of stuff that isn't. But you can't really go through and try and pick it out and be like, well, this is true and this isn't true. And for the most part, I don't really want any of that shit revisited or whatever. It just like
No.
to me, I can't imagine a situation in which what he did would be appropriate. Like even if you just consider it like a single person breaking up with another person, like you don't go online and talk like that unless there's some thing to cause like a response, in my opinion. Most the stuff that I've come out with and said would have never seen the light of day at all. But
Right.
there had to be some responses to some of the stuff that was going on. And so I was like, well, I can prove these things. So Here we go.
That's to me, man. Like, yeah, whatever happened to breaking up and everybody just goes their separate ways.
Yeah.
But that's too much to ask now, I guess. Nick, I want to have you on sometime to talk about shit like people who defend themselves in court in particular.
Sure.
Some sovereign citizen shit. Yeah. That would,
I love those guys.
yeah. My favorite is Darrell Brooks. I mean,
Darrell
he's
Brooks.
so great. He's so great. There was so many
Grounds.
great fucking moments in that time.
Substained.
Substained.
You don't get to do that, you weirdo.
Grounds substained.
That was a great show.
Grounds for the substained.
That was funny. And that judge was doing fucking gymnastics to giving him all the road in the world, like way too much at points where it's just like, shut him up and let the fucking thing go.
That's kind of how I felt too. Is like, I understand what you're doing. You don't want a mistrial and all that shit, but damn, you have to let me like he's standing with no shirt in the little second courtroom and everything.
Yeah.
It was
When
like
he
this-
built the fucking box fort.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It's like,
Like a little kid, and he's hiding under there. You can't see me.
I can't hear you
who are you hiding from? It's just you and a camera, you weird
claiming
dude.
that the speakers didn't work, and it's just
Yeah.
every day it was something different. And the one day, see, I had a problem with like the way he came in like a suit one day, and she's like, "Mr. Brooks is appearing here in a very nice, crisp suit." It was just like, ugh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Sounds a certain
Sometimes
way.
they glaze pro se defendants sometimes. Like that Ronnie O'Neill III, who's my favorite defendant of all time. He's like,
The Sideshow Bob guy who...
yeah, and he's like screaming at everybody. And then the end, the judge is like, in another life, you would have probably made a good lawyer. It's like, in another life where he didn't axe murder his disabled daughter and shotgun his girlfriend to death? Like, and then come in and scream at the jury and
call his son to the stand.
to say,
other than
yeah, when
that-
you stabbed me, Daddy. It's like, oh my God, this is the most tragic thing I've ever seen. It's like, and
I'm
she's
not
like,
saying I didn't do it.
but we will show that if I did do it, it was their fault. It's like, God,
Yeah,
I wish that trial, like, they should release all of the footage. They only had clips of it. It's like, do you know how much great stuff had to be in there? God.
and does this happen more than we realize that there's shit like this going on, and then some of them blow up and some don't, or is it more just like, no, these are really singular cases?
Most murder cases, like, they're going to heavily encourage and sometimes even maybe require a public defender. Like, they're not going to let most people defend your life pro se.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing at all. And, if they put up enough fuss, they have a right to not have counsel, but the judges are going to try and get them to do a public defender.
Yeah, Brooks had to jump through some hoops and stuff too.
Yeah.
Sarah Boone, she went through so many lawyers, they made her defend herself.
Right. And that's another, it's like, that's your punishment, is that you have to be defended by a retard now. But
That's
yeah,
a
it
retarded
doesn't-
client, yeah.
it doesn't happen that often. When it does, you'll hear about it, because most of the time covering the law is boring. The rules are set up to make it boring. The most salacious situations on the fucking planet where like somebody's skinning someone else's like, improper lover alive. And it's like, they can make that boring somehow. So the moment,
all this evidence and shit.
yeah, it's like, well, yes, we collected hair samples in grid C4. It's like, tell us about all the semen you collected off the body that was skinned. But they can make all of that boring and do most of the time. So when anything like marginally interesting happens, it usually pops up. But most of the time it happens in flashes. Like a judge there's that one judge is like, I sentence you to 58 life sentences. You're going to die in prison, and then I hope you rot in hell. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. But the rest of that trial is boring as shit.
It almost seems like that would kind of like cast some kind of a Is it possible that a judge could say something like that, and they're like, "Well, did you give this guy a fair shake?"
Yeah.
Yeah, because we could get an appeal.
Stuff like that does happen. But the problem with a lot of those things is like, did you give this guy a fair shake? It's like, yes. They murdered and raped a bunch of 11-year-olds.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
where common sense does enter into it every once in a while.
Yeah, and judges have broad leeway on sentencing in most states. Now, in some states like Texas, the sentencing happens by jury. But when judges are when they get to do sentencing, there's not really any standard. There's no hearsay exceptions. There's no inadmissible evidence. They can consider everything because their job, once a verdict is reached, is to most reasonably protect the community during any potential rehabilitative process. That's what the jail is actually for. It's not always used that way. But because of that, it's like, well, let's say they had to exclude a bunch of evidence at trial. They want to give the judge the ability to consider that this guy, maybe they couldn't prove that he strangled 8 other people. They could only nail him on the one. But the judge knows he strangled 8 other people and is likely going to strangle more people. You have that with serial killers a lot of time. Henry Lee Lucas confessed to the murder of like 355 people. They convicted him for the murder of 1 or 2.
That's all you need, yeah.
Right. But the judge isn't sentencing him on 1 or 2 convictions. He's sentencing him on 350 murders. Like, this guy can never come out under any circumstances.
Same with what's his name, Wayne, the
John
Atlanta
Wayne
killer,
Gacy.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Atlanta child killer, Wayne. I forget his last name, but
Wayne Williams.
Wayne Williams.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
they only got him on a couple, and they were adults. But the child killing stopped after they put him away.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that
it's
means
amazing.
anything or not, but it's a good coincidence if nothing else.
What a strange correlation.
What are you doing these days on your streams?
Well, I've been wading into the side story of the Karen Reed case. So Karen Reed was accused of murdering her boyfriend. They had 2 trials. She was acquitted of the murder, and it really looks like a bunch of corrupt cops, civil servants, and a corrupt judge almost got a frame job off on this woman.
Okay.
And that they either were directly involved in the murder, possibly
It's a
being
vehicular
murderers.
thing, wasn't it?
Well,
Yeah, they claim she
was.
ran him
It was.
over. Yeah.
She was accused of that.
Right.
The problem was when they got the actual crash reconstruction experts out there, and the coroner. There's no injuries consistent with an auto collision, and there's no damage to the car consistent with hitting a human body. So the biggest problem with the collision was they couldn't prove it at all, and actually had this company that is like it's called ARCA. They're one of the best reconstruction companies that exist, and they showed pretty definitively that no contact was made. So not just we can't prove contact was made, but we can prove that they didn't make contact.
Highest level of certainty.
It's a fascinating case
And
because
she was able, and they were able to convict her without that.
No,
No,
they
no.
didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't
Okay,
convict
okay.
her. But the backstory on this thing is crazy. The worst investigation you've ever seen. The lead investigator had the son of the. So a cop dies on the lawn of this house, and they don't search the house. Right, like they don't even go in and search the house where a cop dies, and the guy's like, "Well, we didn't have probable cause." You didn't?
Dead body on the lawn.
dead body. No,
I gotta-
we can't go in there.
You put dead cops on my lawn, you're gonna search my house every time. So you have this corrupt, deficient investigation, and but no one was ever supposed to find out. But then this weirdo guy named Turtle Boy.
Turtle Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Turtle Boy.
He comes out, he goes on to another weirdo show named Rekieta Law, and he breaks to the world this thing. Some people don't know that I was the first large show that he went on. And he broke the news that this woman was being set up, and he had been following the case and everything.
And he wound up in some legal trouble.
Yeah, he's still fighting. They charged him with witness intimidation. As a journalist, he walked up to a woman at a hockey game and asked her some question. He asked her a couple questions, but she is a witness in the case, and so witness intimidation, felony. If he's convicted on his felonies, it's 90 years. 90 years maximum in prison that he's facing. He could end up with the rest of his life in prison. And his witness intimidation was following, like, there's a giant cop, like, leaving the courthouse, and he followed him and asked him a couple questions and called him a piece of shit. And they're like, witness intimidation.
Yeah.
That's not witness intimidation.
No.
Like, I don't recommend doing it, but that's not witness intimidation.
Did the cop have to go on the stand and say, yes, I was intimidated?
They haven't gone to trial on it yet, but he will. Okay. Like, that'll be the
Doesn't
thing.
that just add to the suspicion of the corruption here? I mean, to
Kinda
the
looks like
heavy-handed, we're going to throw you away for 90 years.
Yeah, and I mean,
It doesn't help.
It's wild because the guy is a known, like, journalist has a weird definition these days, but he reported, like, him reporting on local news was not new. This is not a guy, like, where it's his first time, and so he's like, oh, I'm a journalist, right? No.
Right.
He's been a citizen journalist for, over a decade. He's done a bunch of these things, and he asked hard questions to people who look like they murdered a cop, covered it up, and tried to frame an innocent woman. Like, that's what it looks like happened. And because of that, you know, they're going after him. And of course they're going after him because he exposed it.
Right.
Which
they don't like that.
Some of these people have to be complicit to some degree. I mean, it's bizarre.
At some point, you go like, how does this conspiracy hold up? You know, like, I mean, the actual, you know, nobody's talking about this. They can't flip anybody.
So the people involved, like, you know, you watch every Mark Wahlberg movie, and it's always about, like, a Philadelphia family. It's like, oh, we grew up by the docks, you know, my father, and, like, it's the same fucking thing. But they're always tight knit, and, like, the block that they grew up on really matters. And it's like, and there's corruption going up through civil service, like, or if you watch season 2 of The Wire, the same where they're the dock
Yeah, it all
workers
makes
and
me
stuff.
want to puke. Yeah,
That's like exactly this. Like, the families involved are cop families, and they've been cop or fireman families or whatever, which don't get along, of course. But, like, they're like old Boston Catholic cop families that go back generations. And the same thing with the judges, some of the lawyers, and like the investigator is investigating someone whose their son was the ring bearer at his wedding. Is like the house that they didn't go into, or that he didn't search. Yeah, like, he's friends with these people. And there's like a house across the street that had ring cameras pointed at the scene. And it's like, well, maybe those ring cameras captured what happened to this guy. Yeah. He didn't even ask to look at those ring cameras. That was his boss's house. His boss is the house with the ring cameras. And so he's like, didn't ask and didn't subpoena those things or anything like that, and just let them be deleted.
Not shoddy, obviously corrupt. I mean,
that's just, no.
But
shoddy
like,
is a compliment. Yeah.
But so the reason no one's flipping, though, is because, like, these groups, if you believe the reporting, which all seems to kind of be confirmed, these groups of people, their families have been friends that go back generations, and they're deeply entrenched in, like, this suburb of Boston.
Right.
And as weird and silly as that sounds, because you're like, that's TV shit. We watched it, and watching it unfold in real time at the trial, and, like, you like see this plot and this cover up, like, be exposed. You're like, holy shit! Like, this really happened.
Yeah, it's real code of silence shit.
Yeah, it's not some, like, oh, throwaway excuse. Oh, no, there's a big conspiracy against her. It's like, oh no, fuck, they've got, like, they can kind of show all of the stuff that happened. Like, there's video footage of this cop all dressed up in black or whatever going into the unsecured evidence room, and then the evidence was different when he left. And it's like, what? What is this? And the lady who saw the security footage, she got reassigned to a different place, and she had testified one way at the grand jury, and then all of a sudden she wasn't testifying against her superiors. And it's like, The corruption was just laid out bare. It's a fascinating case, but now there's like lawsuits back and forth. And the best one so far is Karen Reed is suing the Canton Police Department and the Massachusetts State Police for discrimination, effectively, saying that the misogyny of their officers is what caused them to do this to her because she was a woman, which made her a target. And the part about this that's great is that the lead investigator, who's now fired, Michael Proctor, who's now in an insane asylum, checked himself in just a couple days ago.
Does that insulate him in some legal way?
He hopes so.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
They finally got access to his text messages for the past 10 years. And all it is racial slurs, and anti-woman slurs. And they put them all in the lawsuit. So I got to read them all on YouTube, like dropping hard R's like crazy. I'm like, this is the best. These texts are hilarious. But
Yeah, he was rehearsing for a play. That's all it was.
so that cop, Michael Proctor, he in his disclosure of his cell phone records or like the cell phone records of a case he was investigating, he accidentally lost and omitted 30,000 text messages between this other cop and an underage girl whom that cop impregnated, who then killed herself.
Oh, jeez.
And it turns out that girl was being messaged by several Massachusetts police officers who were also inseminating her.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but
Yeah,
I know. No, it's insane. And it's like there is a corruption ring that is
man,
on
that girl
display.
was like, she was just a real slut, huh?
Yeah, you stupid whore.
that'll be the mitigating circumstance. But
Like,
I mean,
clearly, look at her. She's a slut.
so
But, like-
that gets it to me thinking that the reason for the murder to begin with is maybe this guy was breaking ranks with the circle, and
I have a theory
okay.
as an expert. So they're all like, all these cops and the dead guy and Karen Reed, they're all out drinking at a bar. One of the things that became a prominent feature is like all of these people seem to have fucked each other at some point. Like lots of infidelity, very cool. They're hanging out with each other. Everybody's sucking wieners. And
Fleetwood Mac 77. Yeah.
and so there's this and the guy who died is kind of a hound. They brought up messages between Karen Reed and the guy's name is John. They brought up messages one time when she went into the hotel lobby and he's making out with like the girl from a Gretchen Wilson song, right? Like she's this country hoe, and he's just like he's laying into her hot and heavy on a hotel lobby couch. And so they had a fight about it. He's kind of a hound. She starts up a flirty conversation with this ATF agent that she went to high school with. And she's trying to get him to come bust her cheeks, but he's like such a loser, he won't do it. It's very funny. That text message exchange is one of my favorite things that's ever happened. But like all of these people have like their marriages are loose, we'll say. I have a theory. That night, they're all out at the bar, and when the bar was closing, they were all going to the Albert's house to continue the party, so to speak. I think, and so then Karen and her boyfriend, John, they get in an argument, and she leaves him there, and she drives off. And it was kind of like, I don't want to do whatever's going to happen. And he's like, well, I'm going to the party. I think they were going to have some sort of disgusting sexual encounter, like that it was going to be either a swing thing or some sort of like an orgy. And I think there were drugs involved. I think he shows up and he's supposed to bring his woman with him, but he doesn't. I think they're all drunk and they get in a fight, either just inside the house or at the door. And he gets attacked by his big ass German Shepherd. His arm has teeth marks all over it. And he falls and hits his head because that was the cause of death. He hits the back of his head on something. And the state police tried to say that it was the state tried to say that it was the grass. He landed on the grass. And it's like, that's not grass. It's like a granite countertop. Is what it probably was. But I think that there was a scuffle over what was going on. I think there's some evidence, in my opinion, that one of the women involved may have been interested in him or may have been lined up for it. I think it was definitely a swinging and drug party.
and because the evidence was everywhere or whatever, I mean, they were going to look like shit. They were going to lose their reputations, their careers.
But if they had drugs there, they're fucking done.
And potentially be charged with murder. I mean, obviously, but even if it was an accident, that's bound to come up.
Right. But still, the cover up to have the girlfriend set her up and frame her, it just and he upset enough that it was an accident, and I don't know, move the body.
There are allegations that she was, like I said, she was flirting with that ATF agent, and their texts are so funny. They're so funny because he is the worst. He is the worst flirty text messenger I've ever encountered. And so he sucks, but there's some speculation that he was directly involved in the murder and that he was involved in the planting of or manipulation of evidence, that he was the guy in the suit, the black suit that snuck into the evidence room. So it's possible that he was jealous of this guy. And, as he's sitting there trying to get with the guy's woman, that he clears him out, or they get in a fight and he dies from it. But whatever. So there's a lot of dramatic potential going on. But now I mean, there's these civil lawsuits because it cost her over $5 million to fight the first case.
Jesus.
In legal fees. And the second case, all the lawyers agreed to do it for free. But now she's suing, like I said, the city and the state and all these people individually. Those lawyers know that's the only way they're getting paid is if they nail the government on this, and they are out for blood. It's great. It's some good TV.
It sounds great, man. I want to catch up with that.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
But
on the show.
Last final thing, the side cast of streamers and stuff is insane. They're insane. The audience is locked in true crime. A high percentage of women between 35 and 60, and they love the drama. They're into it.
Oh, yeah.
But the streaming cast are these characters. You got guys like Turtle Boy, of course, and a friend of mine named The Glarer. But then you have giant fat women who are talking about it, and then you have some skinny women who are talking about it. And some of them are hot and some of them aren't. And then you have weird dudes with cool sexy text messages going around that have happened. This is so funny. It's perfect. And then you have the people who are still opposed to Karen Reed, who hate her. This one lady, once I started talking about it, she locked onto me. Her name is Kate Peter. And she's like, the government took away your kids. And then you find out that she had 4 kids, now has 2. And the circumstances around that are hilarious. But better than that, she looks like Jabba the Hutt, and but with Down syndrome. And these people are so fucking silly. And so I come in and these fat women start coming after me, and I'm like, all right, bitches, let's go. I love making fun of fat women. It's one of my favorite things to do. So now I've got a shooting gallery and you can't miss. It's great.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, you love those cases when they come along. It's just fucking everything is working in your favor. As somebody covering it.
Keeps on giving.
I feel bad because I didn't really get into the case at first. I was like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then it kind of happened during all of my shit, and I just wasn't ready to cover the first trial. But then I started streaming again when the second trial happened. I watched it. It was kind of boring, and I was like, oh well, now this is done. This shit has been going on for years now, shows no sign of stopping, and is getting funnier and funnier by the minute. And everybody's gaining weight, and it's so cool.
And a growing and engaged audience is just more, right?
Yeah, and It's nonstop, like drama. And again, I mean, you had some crazy, like important stuff happen too. Like the police during the trial, they set up this no talking zone where you literally, if you were in it, you could not speak. And this one woman walks through it, but she was wearing a shirt that says cops are corrupt. So they arrest her. That is helpful. They arrest her. And then, Mark Randazza, who is my attorney on a defamation case, is like, he's a big free speech attorney. He comes in from Vegas to Boston to defend her for free. Like, he's like, no way are we going to let
outlandish.
A no speech zone occur. And he comes in and just kind of stomps the judge who did that. And that was great stuff. And it's like, there is so much like important stuff, unimportant stuff, funny shit, and then really terrifying shit where you watched it. If Turtle Boy hadn't come along, Karen Reed would be in prison for life.
Oh, yeah.
And no one would have had any question. There's no way she could have gotten these attorneys to defend her. She didn't have them. Who has $5 million? I mean, attorney Alan Jackson, his hourly rate is $2,500.
Jeez.
You want to pay that guy for 6 weeks of trial, 8 hours a day, plus, the after trial day work, you got another 3 to 4 hours, $2,500 an hour. Oh, and that's just him. His paralegal is going to cost money. The other attorney, she has like 10 attorneys. She has a great legal team, but it never would have happened without the case getting like this national attention and spotlight. So
thank God for
cool
Turtle Boy. Thank God for streamers. Thank God for people with a conscience and who care about the truth, man. I mean, it's the most important thing in the criminal justice system, I guess. People who give a fuck. Nick, I gotta go. It's been a pleasure talking to you, man. Thanks so much for coming by. I appreciate it. And seriously, I hope you come by again and talk about this court stuff, some of these other things.
Let's set it up. I'm happy to. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I know I talk a lot to some of the people in the audience, kind of old habits, but thanks for tolerating it. And I always love a good late night conversation.
Yeah. Okay. See you later, man. Thanks again.
Adios.
Have a good night.
Hit the follow button. Hit the like button.
But yeah, that's what happens when the Clippers want to become story writers.
You're talking about psychotic obsession. Doom started honing in on me lately and going after me and all this shit.
Yeah, but he's looking for content.
How much do you think Pat Dixon paid Doom to do what Doom's been doing? Because I think that happened.
Doom trying to expose me. Hey, Doom, why don't you suck a cock, you stupid fucking bitch?
Doom is threatening him left and right.
That is wrong, Doom. You should be shamed. Nothing but shame. That's how I feel. Should I turn you into block? Should I block your fucking ass? Doom, I'm going to get rid of you, and you're going to jerk off over it. Bye-bye. Dumb twat. Doom. Sick of you.
Doom, you're gone again. That's it. I'm so sick of you anyway.
And I won't back down, except the Dabble Doom. And I won't back down. You can send me up to the face of town, but I won't back down, except the Dabble Boom. Yeah, yeah, yeah.